How's it going today, guys? Since seemingly everyone else in the world has an opinion on this Jake Paul fight, here's mine. So I'm not going to go super in depth about the sport of boxing or anything like that. I'm not a huge fan of the sport. I don't follow it super closely, so I'm not going to be able to offer any insights to his actual boxing skills, technique, and all that stuff. But what I will say, and what's my biggest takeaway from this entire thing, is how crazy everyone is to be as worked up as they are over this. I think it's tremendous that this guy is out there, Jake Paul that is, and literally building a career for himself within this sport. You can think it's legitimate, you can think it's all a facade, but at the end of the day, he's literally out there doing it. He's selling more than pretty much the entire sport combined outside of him, and I think that's to be noted. I think we're seeing a shift in a lot of different areas of life right now, a lot of different areas of really just our day-to-day lives as we know it, from things that we deem to be the norm to a literal new norm. And Jake Paul in boxing is one of them. No different than NFTs are now huge, comparatively speaking, to art. No different than Bitcoin and all of these things, are not overtaking, but they're, growing exponentially as compared to cash. It's no different than in sports cards. Sports cards are, blowing up in this a new way and a new wave of, buyers and money and all this stuff. And the old people are, the old heads in the sports card world are very disappointed and, having some of the same reactions that it's not good. And it's also giving, in the biggest scale, it's also, similar to how, Gamestop and all these retail stocks and all of that are absolutely blowing up, and it's shaking the fundamentals of the stock market. So I just gave, what I deem to be, 4 huge examples where, there's a new norm being built outside of what we've all become accustomed to. And in every space, kind of the old heads and the purists are sitting there frustrated at what's going on. But I think they're completely missing what's actually going on in front of them, which is that the norm that, the world became accustomed to in all of these different areas of life are changing. And whether or not you agree it's for the better, it's happening. Jake Paul is here to stay in the sport. I think even if he gets knocked out, you're going to see, you're just going to see him fight someone else. You're going to see a rerun of the fight. You're going to see them run it back and all of this stuff. And traditional boxing, I don't think, is going away. But there's no way to, the guy just made $700 million off of one night. And to have any reaction other than applause really says a lot more about you, your character, and the fact that you have a negative opinion or perception of someone else going and getting theirs and doing it well, I may add. He's 3-0. He's actually doing it. He's actually training. It's not like he's just showing up off the couch and doing it. If you have a negative perception of that, yeah, it just says a lot more about you. You should probably have more interests. You should have more, excitement. You should find more passion and drive in your own life, where if you were taking your time and your energy, towards this individual and what he's doing, to pursue his dreams or just to make a fuck ton of money, because good for him, if that puts a negative spin on your life and on, if it puts a negative spin on your life, I think it says more about you in a very negative manner. I think you should grow up. I think you should, realize that this is the future. This is where things are going. People want to be entertained, and it may not be the most pure form of, boxing, and, Gamestop going crazy is not the most pure form of, growing wealth in the stock market. But this is the way things are today. This is the way things are going to continue to go. There'll be corrections and stuff like that. Maybe Jake Paul does get knocked out and he kind of falls off his horse. But the things that are being built today are here to stay. And I think there's nothing more evident than the amount of money being made, the amount of interest, and the amount of eyes that are on everything that I mentioned. So that's my quick, point and shoot takeaway of the Jake Paul fight. Basically, old heads, get with it or get the fuck out of the way. Because, there's nothing romantic about listening to a cassette or a CD. And you can either freaking get on board or just become a guy that, nobody wants to talk to because you just sit around and complain all day. So good luck. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it as always, and have a tremendous rest of your day today.